Hello, this is Kate. I'm Lily Faye. Welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning the waffle stitch. For this tutorial, you will need to know the following: how to create a slip knot, how to create a foundation chain, how to work a double crochet stitch, and how to work a front post double crochet stitch. Now, if you know how to double crochet, but you don't know how to work a front post double crochet stitch, it should be fairly easy to catch on because there's just a slight variance where you actually work into your previous double crochet stitches. To get started, you're going to want any weight yarn that you want to use. I'm going to be using a worsted weight polyester, but you can use acrylic or wool, whatever you have at your disposal. This is, after all, just a learning tool. And I'm using a 4mm hook today, but again, use whatever's comfortable for you. To begin, you're going to want to chain multiples of 3. Now, I have chained 33, but you can do whatever you want on that. Just go ahead and pause your video, and once you have your foundation chain, then go ahead and hit play, and we'll proceed from there. When you've completed your foundation chain, then you will count back to the 4th chain from your hook. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and this is your 4th chain from your hook. You will then put a double crochet stitch into that chain. Then put another double crochet stitch into the next chain. And a double crochet stitch into the next. And you will continue to do this until you reach the end of your chain. 1 double crochet stitch in each chain on the foundation chain. Once you've completed your foundation row of 1 double crochet stitch in each chain, you're going to turn your work around and you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. In the next stitch, you're going to put 1 double crochet. Now we're going to do our front post double crochet. To do a front post double crochet, you insert your hook, you wrap, insert your hook into one side, and then bring it underneath the stitch and back up the other. So it will look like this. We're going to do 1 double crochet, front post double crochet in the next stitch. And then in the next, we're going to do the same. So we have our chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. We then have 1 double crochet in the next stitch, which is actually right here. We have 1 front post double crochet and 1 front post double crochet. So there's 2 front post double crochets here. And then we're going to do a double crochet in the top right here, just right under the stitch. And then we're going to do 2 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 posts. Again, insert the hook here, bring it behind the stitch, and back up the other side, and then complete your double crochet. And again, so that's 2 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches that we've done. So, not counting the chain 2, we did 1 regular double crochet, 2 front post double crochet, 1 regular double crochet, and 2 front post double crochets. And we're going to put 1 regular double crochet in the top beneath the 2 loops, and then 1 front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So if you chain multiples of 3 like you should have, then you should have on the end of the row 2 front post double crochet and 2 stitches remaining. You are going to go ahead and put that double crochet stitch in both of those final 2 stitches. Now you're going to turn your work around. And you're going to chain 2. You will be chaining 2 every time you turn your work. Now as you can see, we have these 2 double crochet stitches right here, and then we have 2 more, which were actually front post double crochet stitches on the other side. You've chained 2 for the first stitch. In the second, you are now going to do a front post double crochet stitch. So it should look something like that for the moment. And then where you put the front post double crochet stitches on this side, you are now going to do just a regular double crochet underneath the 2 loops at the top of your stitch. So there's 1 double crochet stitch, and then in the next stitch there's the second. So that's actually 1 in each of the next 2, not 2, okay, in 1 stitch. So just to recap, we have our chain 2, we have 1 front post double crochet stitch, and then we have 1 double crochet stitch in the next 2. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet stitch in the next 2 stitches. That's 1, and then in the next stitch, there's the second one. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet stitch. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 2. Now I'm working under both loops on these, just so you know. And then a front post, just 1 stitch of the front post, and then the next 2, a double crochet stitch. And then a front post, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. So when I get to the end of the row and have 2 stitches remaining, I do a front post double crochet on the next to the last stitch. And then on the very last stitch, I just do a regular double crochet stitch. Then I turn my work and I chain 2. This is the back side. This is the front side. Okay, so we've chained 2. Again, we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch on the back side. And then we're going to do 1 front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And this would have been the regular crochet double crochet stitches on the other side. But when we get to the back, they're front post double crochets. And then 1 regular double crochet stitch. And then 1 front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then 1 double crochet stitch, and then 1 front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Double crochet in the next stitch, and 1 front post in the next 2 stitches. And when I reach the end of the row, I put 1 double crochet stitch in each of the final 2 stitches. Okay, so then you're going to turn it back over to the front side and chain 2 again. So we've chained 2, and again that counts as the first stitch, and we're going to do a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet stitch in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet stitch into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to do a front post double crochet. And then 2 regular double crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. And then a front post, double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Once you reach the end of the row, again, just to review, we turn the work over, we chain 2. On this side, we have the 2 front posts, so we only do the 2 double on the beginning, and the chain counts as 1. From there on out, it's just 2 front posts, 1 double. So it's just the opposite of what we did before, but of course, we're going to put our 2 double, starting with our chain. So that's 1 chain, 1 double, and then we're going to do 2 front post doubles. And then 1 double crochet stitch in the next stitch, and then 1 front post in the next 2 stitches, 1 front post, and then the second one, 1 front post, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, 1, and the next stitch, 2. And again, on the last 2 stitches, after your final front post double crochet stitches, you just put 1 double like you would normally. And then, of course, we've got a second one on the end. So when we start and when we finish, there are actually 2 regular double crochet stitches. In the first of the row, at the start of the row, that's created by a chain 2, of course. But over here, we just go ahead and work a double crochet stitch into that final stitch. And turn it over, and you would continue to do that. Repeat those rows front and back, so it's a 2-row repeat until you reached your desired length. And again, don't forget, you would just chain multiples of 3 and then count back to your 4th stitch to begin. So that's a pretty easy stitch. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe and like it and share and leave a comment if you like. See you next time.